Hey guys, what's up? Billy D here. Hey, welcome to another episode of Billy D's Collections. Okay, today I'm going to be talking about a murderer. I'm going to be talking about a famous name that you would know in history. And not only that, I want to show you around a little bit. Okay, so let's stick with me. We'll go find out. Let's go see what I got to show you. Come on, my friends, let's do this. Wanted to show you a couple of more here. This one I thought was really cool. I wanted to look at this one here. This is Phelps. Mini Carl. 1846 to 1915. And Elbridge, looks like G. 1858 to 1922. And what I was really liking about this, look at this. Look at this symbol. It says National Typographical Union, or it might be Topographical Union, but that's just how I'd pronounce it. That's what it sounds like. If it's not right, then you're more than welcome to chime in on the comments if you like. But I just thought that was really cool. I'd never seen one like that. And it's beautiful. I love it. So, we're going to back up out of here. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know this is my favorite spot. Okay, this is my favorite cemetery to go to. And you'll see different stories that I do that are going to be up in this same area. And I'll tell you why. This that I'm standing in is the oldest cemetery in Oklahoma City. So most of the people that were back during Wild West days and 89ers and pioneers and all that early stuff, most of those people are here. And there's also a lot of people that are famous that are here, which is one of the things that draws me, but it's not so much the famous part that draws me. In my case, I'm more of a fan of the cemetery itself. I love how they decorate them, the way they keep them up. This one here has that really old school, creepy vibe to it. And when I think of cemeteries, this is what I think of. I do appreciate all cemeteries as well. They all have their good spots, and they all had all that good stuff. But this is one of my favorites. I mean, there's so much history here, and there's a lot more people here than you would ever imagine. There's so many people that are in this place that the names you would know, but people have no idea how close they are. They're sitting on top of history or nearby it, and so many people don't even realize it. You go walking past through here, checking out some of these stones, you can go right past somebody that did something significant or was famous for something, and you would never know it. You would never know it because a lot of them, they don't say anything about that. Most of them are like any other ones. They're going to have a stone, with the dates on it, but they're not going to have, most of them, they're not going to tell you much about it. So if you don't do your research ahead of time, you can go right past these people and you would never even know it. which is really sad if you think about it. You know, think about how many stories are here. Think about how many people that are here that, you know, are original settlers here. And people that had significant impact. But nobody knows it. Because you can walk right past it, like I said, and never know it if you don't do your research. See, that's really important, the research part. And I know sometimes, you don't get a chance to do the research on something because you just kind of stumble on it. So you do the best you can. But if you're looking for someone specific and they're here, do your research. And see, look how beautiful this is. Zoe. I always like that name. Zoe Lynch Tewksbury, 1875 to 1913. And let's get up in here on the front so you can see this. It looks like it's a family plot. Harriet A. Lynch, Jesse C. Lynch, and of course Zoe Tewksbury. Huh. But, alright. Anyway, hold on just 1 second, my friends. And I will be right back. Don't go anywhere, my friends, okay? Got you. Don't go anywhere. I ain't quite done yet. So, did you see little Miss Zoe Tewksbury? It's so interesting. It makes you wonder if they're laid out like in a cross, like, around the sides, or if there's a couple. It makes you wonder. But anyway, you guys. Hey, it is a little windy, so I'm going to try to speak up a little bit. Now, first, I wanted to kind of show you some of these as I go along, and I'll tell you the story. This is absolutely beautiful, by the way. And you can see where it's cracked. You can see it right there. Sadly, it's cracked and everything, but it's been here for a long time. So anyway, what we're going to be talking about today, like I told you, as we're coming over, I want to tell you about this man's name was Edward O'Kelley. Okay, and this is the thing about him. Okay, this is the worst, and this is my opinion. So I'm sure there's a lot of people might not agree, but this is the worst kind of person that you could ever possibly run into. This guy was a hothead, and he just thought for lack of a better term, his shit don't stink. Okay, and so this guy, his name is Edward O'Kelley. Edward was born in 1857 in Harrisonville, Missouri. Not too much is known about Edward, other than he grew up during the American Civil War, which the American Civil War he was just a little kid during that time. I can't remember the exact dates. I had it wrote down on there. It was like 1850 something to 1859. I want to say it was like, I'll have to double check my dates on there, since I can't seem to remember the exact dates. But anyway, let's make our way back over this way. So Edward is known for killing a man named Bob Ford. Okay? And I'm sure you guys have all heard this about Bob Ford is responsible for killing Jesse James, supposedly. And this is, like I said, this is my opinion. So that's why I say allegedly. But he's known for killing Bob Ford. But the interesting part of it is Edward, being the hothead that he was, thinking, oh yeah, I'll just do whatever I want to do, and he just figures anybody gives him problems and whatever else, he ain't gonna stand for it. So what ends up happening, and this is all in history. You can actually look all of this up. I found all of this stuff online. So as we're going, let's check these out. Now, nobody knows exactly why he had killed Bob. There's a couple speculations as to what they thought could have been, but Edward never admitted it. He never admitted anything. But the thing was with Edward, it was, let's see, there we go. Bob had gone up, Bob Ford and his brothers supposedly had joined the Jesse James gang, right? The James Younger gang. Well, he joined the James Younger gang, and they even lived with him for a while. Okay? So Jesse and the rest of them, they're not thinking anything about Bob or any of the rest of them. So what ended up happening is Bob heard about a $5,000 bounty on Jesse James, right? So he's going along. Bob Ford comes in one day, finds Jesse James hanging a picture or straightening a picture, something along those lines, according to history. He's hanging up a picture, straightening it out, and Bob Ford walked up behind him and shot Jesse James in the back of the head, killing the poor guy. Okay? And I know technically Jesse James would be known as a serial killer now, technically. But the thing was about Jesse James was a lot of people didn't see him that way. They saw him like a Robin Hood type. And because of that, a lot of people would help him. A lot of people, would hide out and blah, blah, blah. But, so anyway, he ended up killing Jesse James. Okay? Well, a little bit later on, in June of 1892, Bob owned a tent saloon in Creede, Colorado. And when he had owned the saloon, well, in June of 1892, O'Kelley walks into the tent saloon. And Bob is just about to open up. Well, O'Kelley walks in there with a shotgun. And when he walked in there with a shotgun, Bob had his back to him. And as soon as Kelly walks in with a shotgun, he says, "Hey, Bob." Turns around. Bob turns around real quick. And bam. Bob shot dead. O'Kelley ended up firing his shotgun and hitting Bob Ford in the neck, killing him instantly. And so, after all of this, you know, like I said, there was never anything as to why he had killed Bob. The only thing is there was a couple of theories, obviously, as to why, considering that he never had mentioned it. One theory was that he had married a member of a relative of the James Younger gang. There was another one as well. There was a con man named Soapy Smith, and they were saying that most likely what happened, so Soapy Smith had told him that he would be famous if he had killed Jesse James, or that he would be, I'm sorry, not Jesse James, but Bob Ford. So he'd be famous. So that was another thing. Okay. Now, I want to get you up over here, and I'm going to show you right here. This is the final resting place of Edward O'Kelley. Okay? This is the man right here that was a royal piece of shit. And excuse my language, I'm sorry if you find that offensive, but that's my opinion. A royal pile of shit. Okay? And there's more to this story. This right here that you're looking at, that is Mr. Edward O'Kelley himself. December 1858 to January 13th, 1904. It says, the man who killed Jesse James, aka Bob Ford. Now, I'm going to take you back around, and I want to introduce you to the man that had taken out O'Kelley. Okay? And he is here in the same spot, in this same cemetery, which is in my favorite cemetery. So that just makes it even better. I mean, how much better can you get? You got all of this in one spot, not to mention all kinds of other people that are here that I haven't even discovered yet. So, just 1 second here. I wanted to kind of come and show you real quick. There's randomly a tennis ball laying here next to Anna Lee McAlpine, a little sweetheart here. Poor little girl was only 4 years old. Rest in peace, sweetheart. But yes, back to my story. I'm going to take you over here, and I'm going to introduce you to the man who's responsible for taking him out. So, give me just 1 second. Back, my friends. We're going to go take a look. Just checking out some spots up over here. There's some beautiful headstones here. I especially like the older ones, and you guys know that. This right here, I think, is beautiful. You notice it's got like the gates of heaven up here, and up on the top we shall meet again with the handshake. And this over here, this one is Henry C. October 20th, 1848 to September 25th, 1917. Mary A., his wife, June 26th, 1861 to November 29th, 1950. So, let's back out of this a little bit. Now, we're up over here. We're up over here almost to my next spot that I want to show you. So while we're doing that, I'm going to tell you a little more of the story. So as we're walking along here, now getting back to Edward O'Kelley. Edward O'Kelley, after he only ended up serving about 9 years out of a life sentence. One was due to supposed medical condition, which was part of the reason for his release, as well as the other part of it was they had a petition going around. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Okay, now that enough distraction. Okay, so now that he'd only served 9 years out of a life sentence, which is royally bullshit. But that's just, like I said, it all goes back to that's my opinion. Now after his release, Edward O'Kelley decided to move here to Oklahoma City. Well, he moved here to Oklahoma City and he started hanging out downtown, which at that time, the downtown area near 2nd and 4th Streets was the known criminal hangout area during that time. That was the shady area of town, which was this officer. His name was Officer Joe Burnett. And that was his beat. So Officer Burnett, he sees O'Kelley, arrest him once for, they called suspicion. And and then they let him go. Well, after they did that, O'Kelley ended up getting arrested again by another officer. And so by this time, this is when Kelly, he decides he's had enough. So he says, they better not try to arrest me again. So not long after this, so isn't that beautiful? It's kind of hard to see on there, but it's beautiful, isn't it? But he says they better not try to arrest me again. And it just so happened, Officer Burnett was out walking his beat, and who did he run into? None other than O'Kelley. Officer Burnett greeted him politely, like, hey, how you doing? And O'Kelley's response was striking the officer, which, in other words, probably punched him in the face or something, I would guess. I don't know that for sure. That's just a guess. But, after they did that, he punched him in the face and tried to take his gun. And as soon as did that, they're struggling, right? They're struggling over this gun. And as soon as O'Kelley had gotten a hold of it, he fired several shots, which I don't believe, research didn't say anything about Burnett being hit, but after these several shots, they're sitting here struggling, and Officer Burnett is yelling, hey, help, trying to get somebody's attention. Well, there was a baggage guy that worked for somewhere downtown, and he come up and had gotten in the middle of it and grabbed a hold of O'Kelley's hand. Well, when he did that, that freed up Officer Burnett to have a free hand. So Officer Burnett, he decided, as soon as he got that free hand, he took and he fired 2 shots and killed O'Kelley on the spot. Now, there was a whole bunch of, there was other stuff involved that they were saying, like he tried to, O'Kelley either did or tried to pull a Mike Tyson move, and by biting the guy's ears, by the Officer Burnett's ears, he tried biting at his ears. I mean, everything you can think of. And luckily, Burnett was able to get a hold of it. And when he did, he fired 2 shots, and down went Kelly. And that was put an end to that royal pile of crap. So, a little stop here just for a second. I want to show you. This is like really cool right here. Rausch, Herman A., 1874 to 1942. Margaret C., 1885 to 1912. Grace R. Smith, 1905 to 1974. And Elise R. Gordon, 1907, and it doesn't have an ending date on it. So that tells me that she might be here, but then she might not. So that's the only problem when you see those single dates like that. You really don't know. You can't tell. But anyway, let's go up over this way and get back to my story. So what ended up happening after this whole thing, Edward's gone, and Edward's down, and here's, Officer Burnett is, doing good, everything else. But then he ended up living a long time, or at least a little while after that. And we're coming up on Officer Burnett, which I've been calling him Officer Joe. It just seems, I don't know, that's just the way what I've been calling him. But this right here is the final resting place of Officer Joe Grant Burnett. This right here is the man that took out Edward O'Kelley. Joseph G. Burnett, August of 1867 to July 20th of 1917. So you figure when he got into this brawl, when he got into this brawl with O'Kelley, this was in 1903 or 1904, something like that. So you figure, officer, he probably lived another good 10, 12 years after that. And Officer Burnett ended up passing away from what they had called a paralytic stroke, which from the sounds of it sounds like it's had a massive stroke and just up, and he couldn't deal with it. It took his life. But we just want to say thank you to Officer Joe Burnett here for taking out one nasty dude. So thank you, sir, for your service, and thank you for everything that you've done and helping people, taking out a murderer like that. Yeah. All right, you guys, I am going to be right back. So let's just go. Say hi to Officer Burnett here, and we are going to go take a look. I might have another thing to show you. I don't know yet. Hey, I just want to tell you thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking your time to come and walk around with me. Take a look at all these beautiful stones, this beautiful area, and remembering a lot of these people. Because like I said before, a lot of these people that come in here, they don't have families that visit them anymore. You know, some of them do, obviously, but a lot of these people that have been in here so long that most of them either don't have any more family or their family moved away, whatever, you know. So a lot of times when you come out here and you visit and pay your respects and check this out, there's a good chance that you're the first person that they've had visit them in years. So don't be afraid to get out in the cemetery, okay? Don't be afraid to get out there. People think cemetery, they instantly think haunted, scary, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that is such a thing, but it's not everywhere. And not all of most of the cemeteries are not that way. They're actually more like a park setting, which is really nice. So anyway, ramble over. I want to thank you, my friends. Thanks for watching. Tune in for the next one. See ya.